Interview segment of New Dawn today on Ogun State Television. I am Simi Atabar, and of course you would know that Ogun State is celebrating 50th anniversary, and of course the state was created February 3, 1976, and then now we're talking about 50 years of so many developments in the state. Of course, the founding fathers were, clear about how they want the state to be: development, education, infrastructure development, and of course, the different aspirations of the founding fathers. Today we are looking on the program at the celebration of resilience, and yes, that of course is what we would be looking at. And of course, we have a guest in the studio, an elder statesman, a man that have lived, so many years to see the different development of successive administration, whether they have been able to follow through the vision of the founding fathers of the state or not. We're here this morning to discuss and dissect the different angles to the conversation. Ogun 50 celebrating resilience, and we have, like I said, a professor who is an elder statesman, Professor B. Afonja. Thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you.
I won't be doing this alone. My colleague is here. Good morning.
Good morning, Senior Prof. You're welcome to the studio once again.
Thank you.
And we are happy and grateful to God that you are still strong, and happy that you are seeing the 50th anniversary of Ogun State, and we pray you'll see more in the land of the living. All right, let's start this way. I read one of your book where you gave insight into what happened before the creation of Ogun State, and you were commissioner, I think, in the old Western region in 1973, and Governor Jemibeo was the military administrator, I guess then, and in that book you said you summoned a meeting, and I don't want to go into details. That's part of what I want you to tell us, the story behind the creation of Ogun State in 1976. What was it like before? What was the setup like before the announcement was made on the 3rd of February 1976? So the build up to how did you come about the state capital, and a lot of the convergence of people from the Egbado, then Egba, Remo, and Ijebu. How did you now agree on everything that makes up Ogun today?
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here. I'm not new in OGTV studios. Ever since OGTV was started, I think I've been around about 3 or 4 times. I believe last time I came on was on your hot seat program. But today I think I'm on a cold seat after 50 years. So it's a pleasure being around. And I want to thank God that I haven't seen the beginning 50 years ago. I'm alive to see today. To your question as to how Ogun State got created. Of course, about that time, Ogun State was not the only one created in Nigeria. There was an agitation for creation of states, and the federal government in Sweden decided that, well, regions where there are agitations for creation of states, the military governors in those regions should consult with the people in the region. For example, in the western states, it had transited from western region to western state. So by the time the Ogun State was created in 1976, it was no longer western region, it was western state. comprising of the present Ogun, Oyo, Osun, Ondo, Ekiti. Colonel Jembewo was then the governor of those three states. So by virtue of that, you had to consult with people in those 5 states, that is the western state there. So for us in this part, there was agitation for creation of the state. Now, the question was, what should be the nature of the Ogun state? So in his consultation, because the proposed new state, Ogun, comprised of 4 major divisions. Egba, well, let's go by Remo, Ijebu, Iwa, Egba. So it's there to consult within those 4 divisions in 2 groups. He divided the proposed state into 2 groups. Egba and Egbado, 1 group. Ijebu and Remo, another group. That's for consultation purposes. So each group went to Ibadan. I was in the Egbado delegation. The Egbado delegation consisted of, if I can remember names, famous Chief Eswadebo, the first permanent representative of Nigeria at the UN, Justice Olujide Shomolu, Professor S.O.B. Udaku, Chief Toe Koka, Olori Yetunde Gbadebo, Honorable Justice, wasn't a judge then, Barrister Owolabi Kolawole. One interesting thing about Kolawole is that he is from Ilewu in Egbado. But he has become so identified with Egba that he could easily pass by Egba. So instead of being part of Egbado delegation, he was part of Egba delegation. I said more about that both in my autobiography and another book coming out titled Perspectives on the Growth and Development of Yoruba Land. So back to the delegation. That was the Egba group. Then the Egbado group consisted of 3 prominent politicians. Chief J.A.O. Odebi of Iporo, Chief E.A. Fadaro of Iraro, both of whom were ministers in Awolowo's cabinet at one time or the other, and Alhaji Bolarewa Abiru, a businessman. And I was the 4th Egbado delegate, the youngest, and the only one who was really not a politician. So the other 3 were definitely politicians.
Yeah, I read that in your book. Yes. I think you were around 39, 40 then.
I was quite young then, yes. Still vibrant. Yes. So we went for this consultation with Colonel Jembewo. At that time, we had an Egbado group in Lagos who was agitating strongly that Egbados should go with Lagos State. They even wrote a memo, which I think was drafted by Professor Shuaju under the leadership of Chief Abiru. But by and large, the generality of view in Egbado was that we are better off going along with Ijebu, Egba, and Remo.
Okay.
So the 4 of us had to devise a strategy that we said. Jembe informed us that he had already consulted with Ijebu.
So you have the right to go with whoever at that time.
Yes,
To decide whether you wanted to come.
Yes, that was the basis of consultation.
Okay.
I mean, if, for example, if we convince Jembe and the powers that be in Abuja that you know your brothers were going Lagos State, powers were going to Lagos State, we don't know. Yes.
Okay, could have been possible.
It's quite possible.
So talking about the identity politics that we younger generation have come to see in Nigeria and of course in Ogun State, for instance. You are from Egba, you are from Remo, you're from Ijebu. It counts, it speaks volume whenever there is any political position, on the table, especially becoming the governor of the state. So do we also have that when the state was created at the time? Whoever wants to lead the state is always going to be considered based on those zones that they come from within Ogun State. And how do you feel about that, looking back?
Well, in 1976, and even before then, there wasn't much of that. Of course, most of the time, we're under military regime. For example, when I was made a commissioner, I don't think Colonel Oluwatibe, who was then the military governor, I don't think he really cared too much where I came from. I was a friend of him, of his, and he just felt that I could help him in government. I mean, I didn't really care whether I was from Egbadu or from I was friendly with him as I was with many Egbas, or six Egba anyway. So at that time, really, I don't think anybody cared where you came from. The question was just what you could put in, what you could do, your ability. That prevailed. And even in the political days then, if you look at our cabinet, of course, politically, positions have to be spread over the entire state. I mean, that's natural. But I believe, paid more attention to merit.
Merit.
Yes, he paid more attention to merit. And if you look at his cabinet, oh my goodness, they are sound human beings. Good principles of schools, top in the region, then and the state. So if you just pick them. From Egbado, we had Odebi. From Ijebu, we had Awokoya and Onabawewo. From Ekiti, we have Oshitoku, Akoko, I think we're getting there also. These are brilliant people. And they ran a beautiful government. They were dedicated.
So what do we have? Are you happy with the state of things presently, looking back? You were talking about the old western states.
Yes.
Of course, we have Ondo, Oyo, and of course, Ogun State created on the same day. Are you happy with the changes that have happened with respect to the choices of who leads, and of course, priority on where you're from? Of course, we talk about representation too in democracy. Of course, I don't know how you feel presently. Looking back at those beautiful years you've highlighted.
When you talk of those that lead, at what level? At the gubernatorial level or?
Definitely gubernatorial level.
Okay. Well, again, ordinarily, governors are elected people. Elected by the people. And ordinarily, the people should elect the best person they think can serve and deliver. Regardless of whether from the east or the west, whether from Gadu or Yewa. But unfortunately, human beings being what we are, we will not be happy that his brother is governor. He will not be happy that governor is from his village. That's why natural instincts come in. So when you have multi-ethnicity in a geographic area, it's only natural, I guess, to take that multi-ethnicity into consideration. Because if you don't do so, it's only natural for one ethnic group to be complaining. Like I said, if your brother is a governor, you expect that you will get something. Without doing any, your brother being nepotic. It's only natural. I mean, your brother as governor will not have a position, deny you, which you deserve, simply because he doesn't want to be accused.
Is that not affecting the collective now? Because of course when we say, you know, your brother is from my village, okay, the governor is from my village, and you have an entitlement to whatever it is, naturally you feel there are certain benefits that should come to you, but along the line, it comes to you at the detriment of, you know, others, because that's what it looks like, because others will complain that because they are not close to the governor, it becomes something that affects them in a way, and then they start pushing for, oh, we also need to be there so that my people can benefit. So is that not affecting the core of governance and of the core of democracy itself, you know, in Ogun State as we speak?
It does. If you do anything at the expense of what is good. I don't know whether I gave one of my books on university governance. It's titled I Smell the Rat. I was talking with nepotism in the university system and nepotism in general. You see, if two people are vying for a position and they are both equally qualified, and your brother is one of the two, what do you do? If both of them are equally qualified, what do you do?
You prefer your brother.
If he is qualified. So that obviously is not nepotism. But where your brother is not qualified, and then put him over the qualified person, that is retrogressive nepotism.
Retrogressive nepotism.
Yes, definitely.
Well,
but, so that's where I see things. Ladies, yes. I used to joke when I was being lulled or attempted to go into politics, to vie for governorship. And I used to joke that if I became governor, the first thing I would do is township to Jogorile to analyze it.
Wow.
My office will be in Jogorile. I don't know if you know Jogorile.
Yes, I know Jogorile. I'm from.
It's only 30 minutes to Abeokuta. That is the governor's office for me. And I will commit from there. After doing that, I will then take the road past Jogorile to Imashari, Iboro, Ilaro, to the end of Egbadu then, Bukia area. But I'm not accused of being selfish, but I will start
from there.
With all due respect to Ogun governor, Prince Akwa
Abiodun.
When he became governor, where was he operating from initially? He was operating from Ogun.
More like a template that you have.
What the kind of idea was, and then never stopped him from turning Abeokuta into 10 lane road. Nothing stopped him. If he wanted to, he could have done so. But the point that he was operating from, at least initially, from Ikweru.
Well, Prof, we might need to take this short break. We have another guest in the studio which will be joining us. We've been expecting him and he's around. Chief Judge Ufadairo, another elder statesman, is around. Don't go anywhere. We're still looking at Ogun at 50 celebrating resilience. We'll be right back shortly.
Ogun State, the Gateway State, has come a long way since its creation on February 3rd, 1976. As we mark 50 years of existence, we celebrate our journey, our people, and our progress. From its rich cultural heritage to its modern-day achievements, Ogun State has consistently demonstrated resilience and growth. Over the years, Ogun State has made significant strides in infrastructure development, education, healthcare, and industrialization, amongst others. Ogun State's greatest asset is its people, vibrant, enterprising, and welcoming. Ogun at 50, celebrating our legacy, shaping our future.
Golden Jubilee, Gateway State. Congratulations, Gateway State is 50. Jubilation, Gateway State is 50. 50 years of waxing stronger. 50 years of astounding excellence. Join us as we celebrate. Join us as we celebrate. Ogun State is 50. Ogun State is 50. It's time to dance and celebrate. Ogun State is 50. Join us as we jubilate.
A moment to cherish. From little beginnings, she now stands tall like an Iroko tree. Ogun at 50. Watch out as the celebrations begin.
You're welcome back. This is still the interview segment of New Done on Ogun State Television, and we're looking at Ogun at 50, celebrating resilience. Now we are being joined by an elder statesman, another elder statesman now, who of course is a politician, as he has been described by our former guest, initial guest on the program, Chief Judge Fadairo, is here with us on New Done. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you.
We've been looking critically into what Ogun State has been, from inception, and we know that you've been around for quite a while, and of course you have a concept built around the state at the time. You know what the concept the founding fathers actually built around the state at the time, and presently we would like you to give us an overview of what you think of Ogun State at 50.
That's a reflection of the
Well,
state.
first of all, Ogun State has been created by God Himself because it is strategically located between Lagos and the other western states. Ogun State is blessed with people who are of repute, with resources, and as they normally call it, the Gateway State.
Okay.
All right.
You can go ahead.
I'll come back to you, Chief. I need to take Prof back to the issue of state creation, which we were talking about the other time. And you said the people of what you will call the Egbado. Now, you said you could have gone with Lagos State. What was the reason? Why did you decide to stay with the people of Egba, Ijebu, and Remo to now form Ogun State?
Well, like I said, there are four of us in the delegation that met Colonel Jembewo, if I may repeat. Odebi, Fadaro, my good friend's namesake from Elaro, Abiru, I was the fourth person. Abiru was in the Lagos group, championing the cause of Egbado's going with Lagos State rather than President State. But on balance, when we consider all things, we feel that we had more in common with Egbas and Ijebu. At that time, of course, we weren't distinguishing between Ijebu and Remo. But we just felt that there was no kiss and kill relationship between Egba, Egbado, and extended to Remo. And in an argument with Jambel, when we were arguing for the state capital to be in Abeokuta, one of the points we made was that, look, if Ijebu and Remo people, the delegation, wanted Ode to be capital, that will not go down well with our Igbado people. Because a man is coming from Agoshasha, Ipokya, Idiroko, looking for state capital. He gets to Ilaro, he can't find it. He gets to Abeokuta, he can't find it. You say you should head, keep on going. You say, no, he can't, no, that's asking too much. So, the best we want is Abeokuta. And then we're a little bit ethnic there, if I may put it that way. That in our own judgment, in our own view, locating capital in Owode, Egba, is as good as locating in Remo. I mean, Owode is just a stone throw to Biri, and so you might as well give it to Remo. Pretend that it's in Egba. So when we argue, naturally the Egbas who are part of the region were happy at our stand that we were with them. Look, let's have the capital Abeokuta. Owode. Yes, that was a recommendation. Whether Abasunjo was then the head of state in Abuja, whether I took that recommendation into consideration or not, you know the Kamo. I want to make a recommendation to her.
And you got it.
I think
it took it
into consideration.
I can confirm that. Well, all right, Chief George Fadairo, 3rd February 1976. You know, you might want to reminisce, remember, that was the day Ogun was created. What was it like then? Where were you, particularly I remember on that day, and what was your mood? Or what was the mood if you were in Ogun State? What was the mood like that Ogun is now a state on on 3rd February 1976?
I wasn't in Ogun State. I was in Lagos, which is a separate place. Although Lagos and Ogun State, I don't know how they did it. You have the Aworis there, you have the Abule Egba, you have the Shomolu people who are the Ijebus. But then I was very happy that they gave us the state, because when you have a state, you have development, you have job opportunities, you have so many things that will call for development. So I was very happy and elated at that time.
Also, looking at many people outside the region, the Ogun State, area, then, will you say, do you want to believe that the creation of the state brought a lot of indigenes, a lot of people of the state back home during this period? Because of the creation of the state, did we have people moving back to come and settle from possibly Lagos, the north, and back to the state?
Well, initially, creating the state brought a lot of our people back from the western states. As it used to be, the permanent secretary, the people who came to establish Ogun State. As a matter of fact, they came back home. They left Ibadan for Abeokuta. And I can't remember some of them, but I remember at least one person, a lawyer, Papa Okuboyejo. He was one of the people who came from Ibadan as permanent secretary to come and set up Ogun State. It was a thing of joy for people coming back home.
Okay, maybe we should talk about the specifics, the politics at the time. People talk about what we have now, the politicians that we have now, and of course the politicians that existed at that time. And Professor Afonja was talking about how they were looking at what would benefit their people largely, and not really about individual interests at the time. And looking back, reflecting on what politics has become in terms of who is leading and what is happening, how would you judge that now?
Well, as I think I have to corroborate Uncle's position. The people, you don't know the Awori from the Egbas, from Remo, from Ijebu people. People like Papa Odebi, Father Ero, Adegbero, his own house wife, Father Ero, Adegbero, and all of them. They have unity of purpose. They were together. They would discuss as how to make the place progress. Unlike these days, when A will go this way, B will go the other way, and then a lot of, to borrow some one language from Ghana, Kalabule, GBT. All those were not existing at that time. Adebi will say, let's go this way. The Adegbeno people, Onobanjo, all of them, they will go that way. But these days, a lot of intrigues, and I would say no more politics but politics. That is what is going on now. So it was better that time. It was peaceful. They obey themselves. They have unity of purpose.
In the area of, let's look at some of the resources deposited in Ogun State. The natural resources. Let's talk about agriculture. What was it like then? I know that during the state creation, and when we talk about agriculture, Ogun has always been the first in that area. But let's look at.
We are not first now.
I said has always been first. So let's look at what it was like then. You have cocoa plantation, a lot of it then. I wanted to also talk about reflect on what was it like then.
Well, you see, in those days, we have cocoa plantation, like you rightly said. In the east, they have the coal mining place. In the north, they have cotton. And from what we learned at that time, cocoa was a major resources that we had at that time. And I learned that the Western people, they were so prudent. They even borrowed federal government money. They established abroad. I think where we have Nigerian High Commission was owned by Western State in those days. So they progressed, they moved at their own pace, and agriculture was one of the primary things they were doing. I think farm settlement they have at that time is about 9 of them. About 9 of them. When you are going to Ibadan, by the time you approaching Odeda, you look at your right, you will see like a river where fish pond was created at that time. They did a lot of things, but when Gbenga Daniel came, he wanted to add more, but in the end, I don't think any of the farm settlements are existed now. And if they were, I don't know about it.
I think some of the settlements are still existing. Let me come to Prof. Prof, how was Ogun generating its idea then? I know that one of the things you want to look at when the state is created is how do we sustain running, how do we run the state and sustain, everything. So what was the formulation, what was the plan to generate, and how was the idea generated during that period? Unlike this period where we have a lot of ways that we can generate idea, what were the basic things that help that the government was using to attract, to generate revenue?
Of course, I mean, I wasn't in government, and I've not been part of the Ogun State government as such, except serving tangentially as Pro-Chancellor and Chair of Council of Olabide University and Chair of Council, College of Education. Beyond that, I cannot boast of knowledge of how the state has been generating income. But what I can say is it inherited some income generating potentials through inherited industries like in Ikeja, part of the Odua complex. These were inherited from the old Western states, and they were sure income generating sources. How well they are doing now, I don't know, to be honest. Although one sees on television some noise being made now and again, but as I said, I wouldn't know, quite honestly, whether they are still really generating enough income for government. But I really believe that with the drive that I see on television about income tax and whatnot, they are trying to really increase their income generating potential. But beyond that, I wouldn't want to say too much.
Okay. We move quickly to the education sector.
Yes,
we understand.
I'm very comfortable with that.
The education
But
sector.
further to the last question, you said they have a lot of industries they created. When you do a company that was set up, they have a lot of companies that were generating funds for the state at that time. I remember where they were making wind, they call it, Wrought Iron Nigeria Limited. I think I was the last chairman of the place. Okay. And I remember they said the place should be sold. I said, well, or do something. Under my own chairmanship, it would not be sold. Then I think IMTN or something like that, I now said we should lease it for them. We got a lot of money. All the salaries and arrears of pension that they were owing at that time, we paid it, and the rest money was sent to Odua company.
Okay, like I was talking about education, we largely get to hear.
I will not forget infrastructure.
Yes, we'll get there.
Oh, good.
We'll get there.
So we were talking about education, which is critical at the time, and a lot of us grew up to see or to hear. I am a beneficiary of free education, not just in terms of no, your generation tell us most of the time that you benefited from the free education of the time, and of course people would also look at the quality, not just free education, the quality of education they get at the time. And looking back 50 years, successive governments have also invested in education in Ogun State, and of course I don't know how you see the comparison then and now. And what more do you think they can do to better what we have on ground now, if it's not the standard that was handed down to the state 50 years ago? Prof.
Okay.
Because you're comfortable with education.
Yes, I am. I am. I'm a teacher.
Okay. And
I've always been a teacher. And I love teachers. So without teachers, we cannot all exist.
Correct, absolutely, sir.
Without teachers, there can be no artificial intelligence.
Exactly.
There's a chapter in my book, my autobiography, titled Teachers Commissioner, just to demonstrate how much I love teachers and how much I did for teachers, which unfortunately teachers of the day don't realize. And I will start from that angle. When a few weeks ago, I saw Governor Abiodun making headmaster general, I was so glad in my heart, because that was what I advocated 50 years ago. No, before, in 73, 74, when I was commissioner. In that chapter, I used to argue, and my then governor, Colonel to me agree with me. There's no reason. If a man chooses teaching as his lifelong profession, let him stay there, let him die there and get to the top. Like any civil servant will do. I won that battle. And for the first time in the whole of Nigeria at that time, a primary school headmaster was able to ride a car, and I'm always proud to say it. The first one was one Mr. G. Ladepo. His car was WG181 or something like that.
Wow.
Yes, it's in my book. So, what Governor Abiodun did a few years ago is what I advocated over 50 years ago, and it gladdened my heart. Let good teachers stay in the primary school and teach our children. Because if a man knows that, or a woman, that by remaining in the classroom, he can earn as much as a permanent secretary, why does he want to leave the chalk? He will stick to the chalk and teach our children, and will not benefit. So that I feel so happy. Then the second point, and the second good thing which I noticed, when the issue of takeover of schools first began in 73-74 in the West, it generated a lot of noise. We were misunderstood. We weathered it anyway. Now when states were created, and more recently, there was agitation to return schools to private owners. We have problems in the state, then. But somehow, I don't know whether it's this regime or the one before it, they evolved a formula which I thought was quite good, whereby they allow private schools to exist side by side with public school. Like if you go to our Anglican girls' school now, the mission has its own wing, the government run one has its own wing. So you have private, so it's a good, it's a solution. But I hear that, interestingly, many parents don't send their children to the private one because they're too expensive. Why send your child to an expensive one when just by the side you have the cheaper one? But at least the idea is good. Let's give these private people opportunity of running schools if they want to. While government itself goes off to run it. And if government runs it very well, it should be a model for the private ones.
Chief, what can you say about the state of education looking back?
Also, that's a very important one there.
Okay.
The free education.
Okay, exactly.
The free education. Yeah, free education. I want us bring child. In 1984, sorry, I have to be, because as I'm an old man, I've seen many things.
Exactly. We understand.
1984, Colonel Oladipo Dia, when he became governor of Ogun State, launched a program called New Education Measure for Ogun State. The government wanted to raise money to be able to continue with free education, which had been abandoned. There were 4 launchers to launch the program. If you don't mind, I mention them. Abiola, Fegba, one Popola from Jebu, one Tayo Carpet from Remo, and 2 BER from Bego. Can you imagine that? BER for that launching a fund with Abiola.
your own BER for giants.
I mean, but the other 3 people, these are business mongrels. So I asked the governor, what talk about it? The whole of the they're millionaires.
Why me? You ask a question, why me?
Well, I play my role. I christened in my address, I christened that program Safe Free Education Campaign. Safe free education campaign. It's in the book which I said is forthcoming, titled Perspectives on the Growth and Development of Yoruba Land. So, free education, which many indigenous of West they enjoyed, in my view, should still be practiced. I hear it is being practiced up to a point in Ogun State now, but in the sense that education is institution free in primary and secondary. But I will advocate that honestly it should be totally free. When I say totally, of course, that's not that totally. Parents still have to pitch in something. But what parents have to pay should be minimal. The way I will not conceived it. Korima ta obi. Ìwúntàwọn lọ sọ ni pé Korima ta obi. Tọ́mọ ẹ̀ ń fẹ́ kàwé. Korima ta obi. Tọ́mọ fẹ́ kàwé. Ìyẹn máa fẹ́ please any government. One, tí o bá di the stage yẹn contract, get to that stage. Do things so you finish ta obi. Because there's poverty in the land. If you go to my geography, you know what I'm talking about. So, if you have education,
okay, Chief, maybe you react to that because a lot of poor children at the time, we now know them to be scholars, we know them to have better opportunities in life because of that education. And we still have leaders, scholars also talking about the same thing, that to end insecurity, to end poverty, we still need to do a lot of investment in education. So looking back 50 years ago in Ogun State, was the prospect for the children of Ogun State that don't have opportunities to attend schools, and the implication of that?
Don't have opportunity to attend school.
Yeah, because we still have some people. Yeah, we still have some people, because of course we still have some children that don't, out of school children. They are in their large numbers, according to statistics.
If you are talking of tertiary institutions, maybe, as of today, any parent that has children and does not ask him to go, at least for the primary school education, then something must be wrong in that home, because everything is free up to some level. You see, you need to encourage people. Poor people, some of them are aspiring to go to school, and a lot of them did well. But the public school today, they need to ensure that the standard of education goes up, because that is why some of the people, they will ask their children to go to private school. In those days, they used to say approved school, unapproved school. Unapproved schools are schools that are not recognized by government. But we have seen a lot of people in government school, unapproved school, they did their WAEC, they passed, and compete favorably with people who went to approved school. All of them found themselves in the tertiary institution. It depends on the teacher and the concentration of the student. If you make up your mind, you want to read, you want to learn, definitely your hope will rise, and then you will achieve success in life. It is question of determining that I want to succeed, and then you will if you do so.
Let's go to, I don't know whether Semiat still has any question in the area of education. Maybe we should go to the infrastructure. And what it used to, Prof, what was it like then when you look at infrastructure, the development, and how the Chief Obafemi conceived a lot of ideas to ensure that, you know, with little resources, funding and lots coming in, is still able to make a lot happen. Even for Ogun State then, how they make a lot happen with the little resources coming in, and looking at now where we are, where Ogun is now, we might want to look into it, and maybe one or two things you want to say on that.
Me?
Yes.
Good. Well, CPT. First, one must give credit to successful governors or administrators since 1976. Each one of them has done its own bit. For example, the famous Ukemason route to interchange. As far back as 73, 74, or thereabout, Governor Rotimi opened up a road just up to Kobape. At that time, there was no link directly to interchange. Then, one governor came, extended it. Then another governor came, dualized it.
Which means there was continuity.
Yes. So each one is putting his own little bit. One governor came with the idea of flyover. Contribution here. So each one has been doing its own bit. In terms of quantity of infrastructure, roads, yes, of course. In 50 years, the number must have increased. But one problem, and it's national, if not international, which governors or leaders have, is that of quality versus quantity. Quality versus quantity. Every governor will want to build many roads. Instead of concentrating on one or two good roads. When I hate to mention any name, but I have to. When Governor Shoba was governor, I led the governing council. No, sorry, you were think tank to go and greet him. I said, look, Your Excellency, if it's one good road you can build in a year, build one good road in that year. That is gone. The following year, another good road. When you are gone, whoever succeeds you will not mad as Jesse. But if you build what I call Marujo, it's not used. So in an attempt for governors to satisfy every village, to reach every village by building roads, you build rubbish at the expense of quality. So I call it development quality, development dilemma between quality and quantity.
Well, you're talking about the governor now. What about the other arms of government? You're talking about the local government. If it's about roads, if every village wants development, that's another, management.
The principle is same.
Okay.
Whether you are chairman of local council or you are governor of a state or you are president of a country, the principle of development dilemma, quality versus quantity, that's actually there. Governors, leaders, whether at local, whether see many, both what you call, so you marry you, one cause I down, that's only getting on 5 years. So I will judge a governor for his work if after building the road today, he leaves in 5-6 years time, the road is standing, then that's all you can judge them. And let me give you 2 examples of quality. In the old West, the 2 best roads that we had in the West were Abeokuta, Ijebu-Ode, yes, through Oru, yes, based at the World Bank, and Ife, Ondo, those roads lasted for decades because they were quality roads. Why can't our leaders build such roads instead of Marujo roads? I'm not saying when he did that, build a road that will last 30, 40 years in this Nigeria. So, like I say, if it's a question of dilemma of quality versus quantity, or dilemma of corruption, you see, where you have this big money to build a road, but rather than spend the big money to build a road, you spend half to build a road, you pocket half.
I think issue of the pressure, you know, when we talk about this period, Prof,
pressure.
I'm talking
what
about.
Do you mean by pressure?
I'm talking about.
Can people asking me to do road or what?
No. What I'm saying is that we, like you said about quality. Now, quality now this period, definitely it has to be very high. Looking at the pressure we now have on the road, those periods possibly we have like 20, 30 cars per 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Now you have maybe 50, 80 passing flying a road in because of. So the pressure on the road is very high.
When you construct it,
that's what I'm.
That's
what I'm just trying to. So, Chief, also talking about infrastructure, possibly you also want to reflect on the past and the present.
Well, you see, in terms of infrastructure, our founding fathers, they have done extremely well. I can say categorically that if you look at what Obafemi Awolowo did, first in Africa, television, stadium, first in Africa, and I remember I was a village boy, I was born in the village, and I remember in those days, in front of our house, by 7 o'clock, we would go and turn the knob, they call it rediffusion. What they say in town, all of us will hear it, 7 o'clock news, 6 o'clock news, 8 o'clock news, and they will go up. In the morning again, you go, everybody posts it in front of their house. They call it rediffusion.
No child should touch it.
Yeah, so you do that, and then you hear, in the village we know what is happening in Abeokuta, except you don't turn the thing on at the time you are supposed to listen to news. Infrastructure, wow, okay. They built the cocoa house and so many other places. All the factories in Ikeja were built by the Western region. They have a lot of developmental programs and a lot of infrastructures all over the place. But these days, Akoje Farm, name it, Akoje Farm is, I think it's dead, or maybe they are trying to revive it.
It's still working. There is ADC, that's Agricultural Development Corporation, managing the old Western region property. That's the land, the cocoa plantations and the like.
I said that deliberately. So, I know. You see, they are managing it. It's good that they are doing that. There are lots of things these people did in the past that we do not continue. Continuity wasn't there. Father wants to make his own impact. Bob will want to build something.
Is it not coming from the demand of the people?
No, you see, let me tell you, if you apply pressure on me and I do 10 bad rules, if you apply pressure on me and I do 2 good rules, the history will be there. People will know that Madam Itoshe Lawando, and I can say that, Uncle, you will know that they came out. There are so maybe to get money in those days by the expatriate. There are so many tons on the road in those days, but they straightened it. But if you go into the village, the one they did at that time is still solid as I'm talking to you. And if you want,
for instance, the Idiroko, Ode, then
that used to be the best road in those days.
Pokia, and then the road from Agosha Shasi Pokia is still standing. for over the years, like in decades now, that road is still just that it just needs some repairs along the line. Let's talk about quality.
Let me complete that. You see, it depends on the people. My late friend Agagu said the way they were doing road for Awolowo, it may not be wide, but let it be solid. That's what he did when he was governor, very close to me, late. He was doing that and calling on those people, all the call anybody in Ondo State, the road he did, if they are not good up to today.
Okay, sir. So we talk about quality of roads, quality of education, quality of leaders also is also part of it. You've mentioned, my colleagues talk about pressure. It's normal for the people that might not see beyond the immediate to always want to get what they want by putting pressure on the political leaders. But of course, as expected of any leader, you should be visionary, like our forefathers have been, and they see beyond the immediate. They wanted something that would outlast them. Let's talk about quality of leaders that we have and the decisions they make that eventually affect the unborn children, looking back at Ogun at 50.
You see, the leaders are bound to see many people. They are bound to hear so many things. They are bound to have so many advices from people. But a good leader will have something tank who will be people he will depend on. They will say everything, but later he will call the 4 of you or 5 of you. They will sit down analyzing in a cabinet. Yes, sir. Yes, kitchen cabinet. You will have it when you do that. And one thing that I happen to know is that we make decisions. It's only one person that normally, any decision at all, it's only one person that normally make it. The 4 of us will be talking, let's go this way, let's go. Uncle will now say, no, let's go this. All of us will agree. It's only him that has made that decision. But we will now generalize it. That is when one head is better than 50. So you see, this thing depends on the leader. You will have so many things, but you have to sit down and analyze it. Do I do this? If I do this, when I leave, what will happen? Think about it. But in some cases, no, I want to show off in Bado. I want to show off in Remo.
You are a Batman.
Battle the call. But then, let me quickly say this. I don't normally have pleasure or delight when they say Remo, Ijebu. It is 3 senatorial districts. You don't have Ijebu, you have East, West Central, Uncle, West. Those are when you say. When you say that, you are not there from side economy. Don't take it to 4.
Let's talk about industrialization. You wanted to say something.
We wasn't going to meet this. I think in 1970s, one very important is that Ogun State has developed a lot industrially. We must give credit for that. Starting from the rainy Libesa. And if I keep on referring to Daniel, which I refer to him was, I can never forget one thing. When I went to his office, he had just become governor. I was pro-chancellor. And I wanted to travel to US. I told him I was going to New Jersey. And he told me his vision for Ogun State. He said then, he wants Ogun State to be to Lagos as New Jersey is to New York. What a fantastic vision. And if you have been to New York and New Jersey is just a neighboring state to and the amount of development. And if you now travel in 2011 or 12, my wife and I traveled to South Africa. I went for an award. The Nigerian High Commission drove us from Johannesburg to Pretoria, left and right industries. So if you are going from Lagos to Shagamu to interchange, why should you see that? Then I remember what Daniel said. But today, look at that road.
Yeah, he did that.
From Lagos,
He did that.
he
He did that.
I mean, from interchange now, you have very soon we be all be built up. So I think he had that vision, and
Yeah.
it must be given to
Visionary
him.
leader.
But when they don't say it.
Yes.
Òun bẹ̀rẹ̀ ẹ jẹ́ ká sòtọ́ ibi tó bá wà.
Okay, sir. I was
Ìṣòkùsè là ń sọ.
exactly. So I was about asking Chief earlier, talking about the infrastructure as an Egba man. Recently, you were talking about the state of infrastructure back then and now. You have the GRA being the face of the places being lifted by the governor, and of course the current administration. And yes, there are other places within Abeokuta, the Ogun Central now, as you have said, we should be referring to it, that they're doing a lot of things, and of course some government, projects, acquisitions and all of that. I don't know exactly how you feel about those developments with respect to the vision our founding fathers have for the Ogun Central.
Acquisition of land. Acquisition is going on steadily and very fast.
Expand.
The expansion. If you go to where we have housing corporation, the whole place is leveled up. I think they said they want to have another office. I don't know where the people are now. All the lands, this government loves land. When you talk of land, although we are seeing development, where the civil servants were living around my area, everything. When they did that, I was thinking they wanted to do more than something now. All those civil servants to come back and some to be leased out to people and so on. But lo and behold, I think individuals are the ones building houses there. That would generate a lot of fund for the government, but then some people, I thought they would develop that place, and civil servants will come, they will be paying instrumentally up. I'm not faulting anybody, but that is what I thought.
Okay.
I think I wasn't too happy that it didn't go that way. It didn't go that way. The housing corporation is leveled up, and I think so many other places are going to. They are selling this land to some people. A common man, that is, I can say specifically, the civil servants. I don't know, the governor might have his own plan for them. All those places where they ask them to live, there should be something, I remember people at Ladeni, whatever anybody says. I worked with Daniel, I was his chairman. We did very well at that time. Ladeni, they sold the house, 1 bedroom apartment, 850. If you can't pay once, you pay twice. But if you go there, that 1 bedroom, they have made it 3 bedroom. Everybody is very happy. So we need to encourage people. We need to care for the people. I'm not. Don't misunderstand me. I know everybody is trying. When you come, do your own and leave. Another person is coming tomorrow. So Daniel did well.
Well, Chief, let's look at, we've talked about government. Let's look at individual growth. Now, let's look at morals. During this period, 50 years of Ogun, I'm not sure, I was not born in 1976. And I'd want to believe there was, I believe there was nothing like, moral decadence,
social media influence,
and a lot of those things. Now let's talk about moral. What was it like during this period? Quickly, because of our time. we don't have issue of cultism and all those. But these days it seems, we have a lot to deal with in that area. Let's look at what was that generation doing right that time in the last 50 years for Ogun State? What can we do to mend ways? So some of these youth going astray can, go back, get back on the track and, forge ahead rightly. Yes, Chief.
Well, most importantly, it depends on the parents. I remember some years back, within the last 3 or 4 years, they said they wanted to do organization of Yahoo boys parents.
Okay.
So everybody knows that whatever they call Yahoo is bad. It's stealing. It is not something they should associate good children with. They wanted to have association of Mama Yahoo. Can you imagine that? Instead of all of them to round them up and go and jail them somewhere. I went somewhere yesterday. It's in the interior. A lot of beautiful houses. Somebody in the car with us now said, they would like to come and stay here. Good houses. Who is coming to rent? He said, they know they will. Because they are not doing something that is genuine. They are doing something that is hidden. Those things should not be encouraged. The constitution you talk about, again, depends on the parents. You go to school, you come back home, parents will not hear. The only thing is talking to them in English. Yoruba. English. What did you learn in school today? Oh, can you come? You see, again, that is common among, if I'm digressing, sorry, among the Yorubas. I've traveled to so many places. It may not be as wide as my uncle. But then, all the Hausa and Igbo people born in US, born in UK, in Denmark, Switzerland, they speak their dialect. But Yoruba people, no way. Even back home here. So my grandchildren, they talk to me in English. I tell them I didn't go to school. One of them very clever, but you spoke English just now.
So you responded in
English. Law school. He said, I can't hear that. No, lost in school. Because I will talk in a bad dialect to them. So it depends. It depends. The people are being encouraged to do bad things, and right from home they start.
Okay, because of our time, we're wrapping up very soon. Just 30 seconds, Prof. Maybe you tell us a little bit about what you would expect Ogun State to be in the next 10 years, talking about the 60th celebration. What are your aspirations for Ogun State?
Well,
okay, Prof. You can go first, Prof. 30 seconds.
Yes, well, Ogun State is already moving in that direction, to become a fully industrialized city. I mean, that will go a long way.
Okay.
And then to pay full attention, it is already doing so, to education.
Okay. Prof, Chief, 30 seconds.
Well, you see, Ogun State, as we know, we believe in education and it's helping us. This should continue in that way, encourage our people so that they can become leaders of tomorrow.
Thank you.
And finally, for our Yahoo boys and whatnot, let's teach them that money is good, but hard work is better.
Correctly.
Money
correct.
is good. Hard work is better. Because they don't want to work, they just want money.
Yeah.
Let's take that.
Parents who have that,
That's take away.
Okay.
Money is good, but
Hard work is better. This morning on New Dawn, the Monday edition of the program, we've been discussing Ogun 50, celebrating resilience with key and, of course, very elder statesmen here Chief George Fadairo on my immediate right. Thank you so much for being a part of our program today. And of course, our Professor B. Yaponja, thank you for sharing insights, taking us back memory lanes to understand the context of the conversation. Thank you so much for being our guest.
Yeah, thank you very much, and we hope and we pray that God continues to give you strength. 60 years, God willing, you will still be around.
60 years.
Yeah, I mean 60
Ogun
years.
at
Ogun at
60.
60.
Oh, okay. Sorry, by the grace of God. By His grace.
Well, that's the program this morning. We hope you enjoy every bit of it. And if you do, join us again on Wednesday, where another thing will join you. We'll be discussing another topic. Till then, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.